So, as we continue our Power Rangers review journey on the channel, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I'ma keep it real. I have Power Rangers Time Force marked on my calendar, on my list of seasons that I couldn't wait to watch again. Because when you talk about Power Rangers Time Force, the characters are so deep with the emotions that they go through, how they begin, how they end. The storytelling is excellent. The acting is non-cringy. Ooh! Power Rangers Time Force was a great season of the show. So, let's go back to the year 2001. Why am I saying that like a rapper? I don't know. But let's go back to 2001. Y'all know what it is. Today is a day. One of them days where we got to praise the Lord. Not like that. But we got to praise Saban. We got to praise the Power Rangers franchise. Just like we did for Power Rangers in Space. Because there are so many things in Time Force that they did right. That stand the test of time today. And the storytelling is so good in this season. They did a whole bunch of things right. The plot of Power Rangers Time Force goes like this. In the year 3000, you would have an evil mutant by the name of Rancic that hates all of humanity. Rancic escapes backwards in time to the year 2001. If you go backwards in time, you can do a whole lot of damage. So, the Time Force Rangers, led by Jen Scott, go backwards in time to the year 2001 to stop Rancic and hopefully be able to save the future. When I tell you this show introduced me to a different side of Power Rangers in 2001, it did that. I remember like it was yesterday watching it on Fox Kids, and I'm not going to lie, some of the maturity went over my head then. But now as an adult, I can definitely appreciate it to a whole new level. As you're introduced to this season of the show, you see a Red Ranger that is fighting Rancic. Much like how during the In Space season, the Red Ranger, you don't know who he is, what his values are. You don't know what he looks like, but you see him fighting a bad guy and doing the right thing. Alex is really portrayed as this great Captain America, Superman type of hero when he ultimately ends up stopping Rancic in the first episode. That was very intriguing to me because when you talk about cars flying around in the future, this ultimate square off of a Red Ranger versus a bad guy, it felt like a season finale, but it was just starting. Alex winds up proposing to his girlfriend, Jen Scott, who winds up being a Pink Ranger. There's a whole lot of emotion and importance devolved in that scene. But what really happens that's the highlight of the first episode is that later on, Rancic winds up escaping to the past. But before he does, he kills the Red Ranger. Boy, he slaughtered him. And to even add more insult to it, it was the same day that Jen went backwards in time. It was just a whole lot of emotion in that first episode that played off well and would really leave anybody watching this going, oh, I can't wait to see what's going to happen in episode 2 and 3 and how this is going to evolve as the season goes. What really stuck out to me in watching the first episode is that you can tell Saban put more effort into the story aspect of the season. Like I said, the cars flying around, it being set in the year 3000 was smart. Let's get away from it's set in 2080, so it's in the future. Stop that shit. I like it when we go deep into the future because you can really play with a lot of things. Stop all that 2045 shit. No, that ain't too far from now. Fuck that shit. I want to go deep into the future. And the year 3000 is deep into the future. You have mutants that are amongst society, full-blown C-3PO, R2-D2, cubics, robots, and it was really cool. A few more things that stuck out to me about the premiere was that when Jen goes back in time, y'all gotta understand how savage Jen is. First off, Alex died in her arms. And this woman said, I don't want no memorial. I don't want no burial. I don't want no chrono freeze. I don't want no funeral. Rancic did it. Fuck him. And she ran backwards in time to go get him. Wasn't worried about putting Alex in the ground. I'm about to go kill him. That was just fantastic. The emotion that you felt for her and the other Rangers as they're in the time ship getting ready to go backwards in time.
What are you doing? Shut down those engines immediately.
Go! 9, 8, 7.
Because you don't know if Rancic already changed something in the future. You have no idea. So it's so much emotion and weight on you as a member of the audience. That was fantastic for a first episode. We all know once they get back to the year 2001, they have the chronomorphers, which are pretty bland looking morphers, but they come from a Time Force Academy, so it wouldn't be anything too flashy. They're futuristic police officers, basically. But what really stuck out about them going back in the year 2001 and the chronomorphers was that they needed somebody with a DNA match to Alex in order for the morphers to be unlocked so they could morph and become Power Rangers. That's where you meet Wes, who was one of the franchise's best Red Rangers, a fan favorite for everybody, including me. What makes Wes so interesting in this show is that he has a father who's a multi-millionaire. A lot of people would just chill on that, but Wes wants to create his own destiny. He doesn't really want to be a businessman. He's more of a adventurer, free spirit type of a guy, like me, like a player. And what I really felt about Wes was that Wes was the audience surrogate. When he becomes the Red Ranger, there's excitement. There's happiness that's oozing from him. Like it would be with anybody if you became a Power Ranger. And when you have certain confrontation with Wes and his father, who wants him to be a businessman, there's some nice mature comedy that's hidden in this show. Check this out.
Actually, Dad, I can't go. I have a date.
A date?
Yes, this is my friend.
I'm Jen.
Charmed.
Mr. Collins looked at Wes like, I know you didn't bring this up in my house. I was on the floor watching that. Now, Aaron Cahill, you understand me? But I don't know what Wes Daddy was on, but your son didn't do bad. He did good. Too many times when you have shows that involve time traveling or shows that are set deep into the future, you wind up getting characters that are cookie cutter as fuck. You wind up getting characters that are really just people similar to society around us now, but they're set in the future. Not anything that makes your mind go, wow. Not anything imaginative Just some real cookie cutter shit. But Time Force has one of the weirdest but coolest Ranger teams. Trip the Green Ranger is an alien of a distant planet. He has like a green emerald, a diamond embedded inside of his head that allows for him to track people's location. He can see into the future a little bit. Trip was definitely somebody that the writing team thought hard about. How can we make this guy different from what's been on the show before? And Trip was that. Lucas the Blue Ranger is probably the most cookie cutter of the bunch. He's a race car driver in the future. Why they're racing cars in the year 3000, I don't know. And the other Ranger that I thought was really cool was handled extremely well, especially in the early parts of the season, was the Yellow Ranger Katie. She's one of my most favorite yellows from the entire franchise. And I kind of feel like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I had a dream, because I'm telling you, Katie was the first human Power Ranger on Earth to have powers outside of her suit because she had superhuman strength. I had a dream, and that was something that made the character pop off. It made the character unique. And during the early portions of the season, they were doing some real Nickelodeon Disney Channel playing around. The Ranger team was. And I was like, ain't nobody worried about the future. Ain't nobody got no pressure on them. And Katie woke up one day, I think it was like episode 9, and was like, yo, if we fail, if Rancic wins, there's a possibility we ain't gonna have no future to go back to. And she damn near has a nervous breakdown. That scene was dope.
I don't know if we have a future anymore. Don't you see? We're out here risking our lives. And for what? Okay, I'll fight. But first you promise me that I'm gonna see my family again. Promise me that I'll make it home. Trip. Promise me the future will still be there.
Having real stakes and consequences for if they fail. Having that pressure that I talked about earlier on them throughout the entire season. The villains for Time Force are not anything equivalent to in space. You're not going to get the Psycho Rangers or Ecliptor or Astronomer. They're not that good in comparison to in space. That was great. But the villains don't take anything away from the show. Rancic, I really appreciated him because he wasn't cartoony, which is the first thing that stuck out to me about the performance. But also was the fact that in past seasons of the show, you have villains that are chilling in an evil lair and seeing monster after monster. And you always say, why won't they just go down there and fuck the Power Rangers up themselves? Why are they in a moon base chilling? Why don't they go fight themselves? I'm looking at you, Zed, Divatox, y'all chilling. Why don't y'all go fight them yourselves? Rancic can't do that because in the year 3000, he was bitten by a mutant. And the bite is slowly killing him. And he has to take these serums every so often to avoid from dying. So he can't really go out there and fight the Rangers because he might need a fucking serum in the middle of the battle. Ain't nobody gonna let you take the serum in the middle of the battle. That was really well handled. The only villain that I really didn't like was Deborah. I did not like his daughter at all because the outfit that she wore was just stupid looking. It looked awful. She looked worse than Drakina from Lost Galaxy. That awful, shit. That outfit was terrible. I also didn't like how she gave this very cartoony laugh. every time she was getting ready to do anything evil. It really took the tone of the show down a few notches whenever she popped her ass up on screen with that pink hair. The one villain that everybody loves from Time Force is Frax. Frax the robot is actually somebody from the year 3000 that was trying to help Ransik, but Ransik winded up almost killing him. So the guy winded up making himself into a robot that eventually was going to stab Ransik in the back. Frax is a well-written character in terms of his backstory and his motivations against Ransik, but I didn't really feel like Frax held that much of a threat to the Rangers. I wasn't like, oh my god, Frax is on the battlefield, it's over. I didn't get that feeling that I got with, let's say, the Psycho Rangers or Rito when we first saw him. Frax didn't deliver that type of intimidation. This season of the show is the originator of Power Rangers who don't give a fuck. It is the originator of that. You have Jen Scott, who, like you already know, goes into the past to stop Ransik, but there are numerous times when she's on a killing spree. She does not care. If you in my way, you about to get clapped. She didn't care who it was. She has episodes where a cannon is pointed directly at a mutant's face. I'm like, damn, she getting ready to kill him. And I don't mean destroy. She's getting ready to kill him. And the other Savage Ranger that really made me appreciate this season more was Eric Myers, who winds up being a Quantum Ranger. His backstory with him and Wes going to college together and him ultimately ended up being the leader of the Silver Guardians was so well handled because it gave the character a beginning, a middle, and an end when he ultimately ends up helping the Power Rangers out and leading the Silver Guardians along with Wes. Eric Myers also didn't give a fuck. There were numerous times in the season where he was getting ready to leave people for dead. He didn't care about leaving Wes in the past around dinosaurs. He did not care about people in the city that needed protection who couldn't afford it. He did not care about fracturing the relationship between Wes and his father. Eric was the originator of "it's about me. Fuck you." And I love that about Eric because it gave him this real badass Wolverine kind of a vibe. Now, I also love the Quantum Blaster because it has this feature where it can turn into a sword. Woo! His Quantum Blaster is cooler than Zane's weapon from In Space, or is even cooler than Ryan's weapon from Lightspeed Rescue. I love the Quantum Blaster. Now, if we're going to talk about weapons, we do got to talk about them Time Force weapons. Them Time Force weapons are awful. They are terrible. Those Time Force weapons look like the Turbo weapons. How are they from the year 3000 and they running around with artillery like that? That shit is awful. Them Time Force weapons, them cannons, the swords are fine. The blades are okay. The Zords that come from the future are cool because the Zord fights happen at night, which gives you a different angle to watch them from. But them cannons, them special weapons, boy, them things are next generation awful. Speaking of awful, let's stay on awful for one more part. I need to collect my wits before I talk about how stupid this design is. The Quantum Ranger's power-up is far and away the worst power-up I have seen in Power Rangers.
Make a battle mode!
Yo, shout the season, man. Shout the season, man.
previously to this, Andros from In Space looked stupid. That shit looked dumb. Carter from Lightspeed Rescue was okay. Leo from Lost Galaxy, if you get hit by this shit, you are the most unathletic person in the universe. Eric Myers, the Quantum Ranger, is skating around. He's got blades on his hands. He's got a visor over his helmet. Why? And he's not even moving that fast. It's terrible. As the season goes on, you see that there's somebody back in the future at Time Force Academy that's kind of working in the shadows. You don't know who this person is. It winds up actually being Alex. Now, the reason why Alex is still alive and is able to come back to the future is because the time stream got changed and it changed his death and a whole bunch of time travel funkiness that I don't even feel like explaining because I don't think it makes sense for him to come back to the past, but they kind of needed that in the script for a love triangle, which I hate those, for love. They needed some of that fuckery, and I'm going to excuse them because when Alex does come back, the acting gets to another level. You see Erin Cahill, who played Jen, her acting is so supreme when Alex comes back. Wes's acting, Jason Fonts, goes to another level.
Please don't. Wes, I want to tell you something.
Don't worry. Everything you've always wanted is waiting for you in the future.
Wes, please.
If a weird plot concept like that happens, but it heightens the acting, especially in Power Rangers, I am all with it and I ain't even gonna complain. Finally, in the season finale, the way it ended with Jen and Wes was very emotional. You felt that love. You felt that bond that they had built throughout the entire season. When she's like, look, I gotta go back to my future. I can't stay in the past. And Wes is like, you gotta go do what you gotta do. It was just really powerful. You felt the acting. You cared for the characters because their bond started early and it gradually became what it became throughout the season. Beautifully handled. I really felt that emotion. But the way that things ended on the flip side with Rancic was Cartoon Network. It was Disney XD. Look, Rancic winds up feeling bad for all the evil he's done because he accidentally winds up hurting his daughter. So he sees the evil in his ways and decides, you know what? I need to go to prison. I need to go to a jail cell to commend for my sins. I was like, so you telling me that we did all of this time travel? We did all of this going backwards in time. We went through all this heartbreak. Wes almost got dropped off a cliff in the dinosaur age. For this motherfucker Rancic to be like, take me away. I was like, oh no, why did you do that? It was so good up until that point. Power Rangers dropping the ball on the season finale again. So, Power Rangers Time Force, what does it get? What does it deserve? Power Rangers Time Force gets a mother freaking B+. Now, I did want to give it an A, but I was like, some things in space did so much better. I can't really give it an A, but I'm going to give it the closest thing to an A, which is a B+. Now, real quickly, I know that as this video ages, people are going to talk about time travel inconsistencies in the show. I am 100% aboard with you guys on all of that. Why are the Time Force Rangers going back in time, being exposed to the public, showing the public during 2001 futuristic Rangers, futuristic technology. They don't have any type of a neuralizer device that can erase memories of what they saw. There's futuristic Zords that are coming from the future and running on the buildings. Why are they so sloppy with the time travel? And I agree with you guys 1,000%. There's sloppiness with the time travel. But let's be real. Whether you're talking about a movie or a television show, there's always going to be some sloppiness with the time travel because there's so many holes in it. Anyway, I cannot wait to talk about Power Rangers Wild Force. I'm currently on episode 16, and when I tell y'all, it's been hard. Wild Force sucks. And I'm about to go in on that. Just let y'all know, I'm going to destroy that shit. Wild Force sucks like a motherfucker. I've been watching Wild Force. I've been pushing myself through it all week. Hopefully by the time y'all watching this, I'm on Power Rangers Dino Thunder. Fingers crossed. I cannot wait to watch Dino Thunder again. Love that season. I'm rambling. It's been weird, but it's been real. This video's long as shit. Get out of here, bitch.
I got into the bloody body.